anything here. So many of the students there.
Today we are going to discuss the second phase of the Masjid Ansar Islamic Committee. And the mayor will be our guest today. And
this is Al Jazeera.
we just expect to have a few minutes time. Meanwhile, we are discussing about the sitting by me is the President Dolo of Peruvian, and he's here today again to give a word of wisdom and also to contribute to destiny. Looking forward to his input and also his blessings as well. Over here to his brother Yaya Kumara, also his brother Muhammad Sise, Secretary, Temple, as Imam Dukle,
what the Christians have done,
Masjid al-Nur, West Africa. Also his brother Lamin.
Yeah, it's that
He was here the last time.
More like when
Also his Mr. General Secretary General Guinea. Yes, Honorable Mr. Muhammad Dukle. Also elected member of MMA, founding member as well. Yes, Salima, my daughter. Yes, Saeed, the one who recited Surah to Luqman the last time and was so excited. Yes, Mr. Idrissa, the very first time attending the general meeting. We look forward to.
Are you sure? You know something you do yourself?
Confess me. So also to our brother-in-law, also attending this meeting. Looking forward to his wisdom as well. Yes, Muhammad Khan, the guy who always thinks that he's always right, which I said to. No, he's always right. So energetic. He said he's going to donate $5,000. Yes, Mr.
He's one is like that. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Future mayors. I see you. Good. How are you? Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Yes. Nice to meet you. Let's see. How's it going? All right. Thank you. Yeah, no. Thank you. You guys are eating. You can go on. I'm good. No, I made so one thing I don't do is tell my wife that I'm eating.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Before we start our meeting, we usually start with our prayers. So let Imam Hamid Dukuli start our meeting with our prayers like this.
Yeah, I'll give them.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum means near in Islam. We have two meanings. Linguistically speaking, a child just wants to be peaceful. Salam means peace, alaikum is upon you. And spiritually speaking, it puts Allah's blessings, the peace that is only obtained from the Almighty. And so this afternoon, I wish you all of you both the peace of the Almighty and also be peaceful with yourself, with your neighbors, with friends and brothers and sisters as well in the community. Before we welcome the mayor, we start our meeting with prayer, inshallah. At this time, let us pray. The best prayer that Allah has given all of us is Fatihatul Kitab, the opening chapter of the Quran. So let us read it together. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. At this time, we are honored and deeply gratified to be here this afternoon in the offices of the mayor of our great city of Brooklyn Park. We are honored by your presence and the support that you have given and continue to give to our people in this community. Sometimes people talk about the negatives, but some of us, we don't like to talk about negatives. The fact that this city has been able to accommodate our people as many as we are, there might be some things that may be happening that people don't like, but we don't dwell those. Let us dwell on those positive things that bring us together. And so, our mission today in this historic chamber to your offices is one thing. Number one, to introduce ourselves as Muslims in this community. Perhaps we can come in different groups as Muslims, but to get together as a group of Muslims to come to the mayor of Brooklyn Park, I think this is so it's very historic for us this afternoon to be here. We welcome you into your own offices. Our mission is one mission, one thing. We have hundreds, if not thousands, of Muslims that live within the perimeters of Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Center, and other adjacent cities, but we do not have a place of worship. So our mission to you is that we want to find one in this locality. But normally, you need to touch base with those that are in political position in order for you to be able to achieve that goal. And so we've come not asking you to do what is wrong, but to ask that you give us the support that we need to be able to do this. You know, we're not asking you to do anything wrong. We're only asking you to give us the right, the opportunity, and the support that we need to achieve this goal. And we have no doubts in our minds that you will do that, along with the council members. And so having said that, once again, we'd like to thank you for your presence at this meeting. And we pray that Almighty Allah will continue to bestow His grace, His protection, His wisdom upon you, your family, in the discharge of your responsibility to our community. We ask God to also keep our community safe from the harm of the evil ones, and pray that this nation, along with its people and on the residents, Allah will continue to bless them. And so I thank you for coming. There will be updates that will come from Hassanin and also Abdullah on this project. But this is a request on behalf of all of the Muslim community who have brought thousands of people, but that will take much of your time and the room is small. That's why we decided to select the leaders. Now, the response, I don't want to sit down without introducing some of the leaders to you. Hassanin, let me start with this right here. He is the one in charge of the committee for building. We find a spot where we need to do this worship. Normally, say next to him, he is the acting treasurer of this group. He's the one that in charge of little money or few pennies, he keeps it.
And he's also the executive director of the OLM.
OLM,
We want to show you how diverse the group is.
Maria is a senior member of our community, Manila Association. Mohammed Dare, you know him, is the president, the current president of the Manila Association.
Brother Puma is one of those volunteer members of this community, teach a lot of kids, over 100 or 2 of our children through every week. Mr. Ibrahim Sese is a senior member of our community. He's from Sierra Leone. Brother Ramin also is a senior member of the Guinea Association. Brother Dukley is a member of the board member of the OLM. The little sister there is our brother Mohammed Bas, the one who's taking the teaching. Brother Saeed is his son. And then also, Brother Iju is also senior member of the Sardinian community. That is one in the leadership. And Brother Pajomo, he's also a member of the Guinea Association. Brother Mohammed Khan, Mohammed is still the president of the Sardinian community. Our brother was Mohammed Jallo is also a member of all the community. So like Guinea community, everything. He's Nasaka. Last November, he's the current secretary for the Madina Association.
He's also a board member, commission member of Crystal
City.
Recreation.
Yes.
And now journalist too.
Yeah, okay. And Brother Kapuma Kuma is the president-elect for the Madina Association. He will be taking office on Saturday. And so he's here to also grace the occasions for us. And Sheikh Abdullah is one of our leading scholars. The brother with the young boy is one of the leading scholars, a very profound individual and trustworthy. He's a member of all the communities, so Sardinian community, Guinean community, and everything. And then the sister, next sister his wife, and then our mother, Haja, Salim is working, Haja Asas, she's the mother of our community. She's a former ambassador, former professor of the University of Liberia, and former ambassador of Mali to Liberia. And then next is our sister Musu. She was vice president of the Madina Association before, but now she's busy. She's also a professor. She teaches. So everybody here is a combination of all the courses. Abdullah Chantaba is I don't know whether I should introduce him to you. But currently he's the executive director for so he's the one. But he's well involved in the community. And Brother Mohammed Ba is the president for Guinea Association, and he's a member of OM, Liberia Madina Association. He's also a member of Sarasota, so he's from everywhere. It's the United States of Africa. And then the humble servant is Imam Bukri. That's all I can say about myself. I have the honor to serve this community. They asked me to lead them in this project, and so I am honored to do that. And so, having said this, to introduce them to you, so that next time you see them, you know the people there. Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, we don't know his schedule. Yeah, we can do that, because at least he will have some information and so respond.
Okay, I think Hassan will summarize it, but I think, first of all, I'm happy that Mayor Bundy is here, and I think I also was bombarded, but I was meeting with him, and Hassan was willing to be with him. I said, okay. And so we keep going back emails about meeting, and then we met at 2 different dinner occasions. Okay, we gotta meet about this stuff, And when I met him, he was like, in 2 minutes, go check these 2 places right now. And he gave us 2 places. He said, well, those places are already zoned. You just need to do it. And then the second thing he said, the council. And I think we met already 3 persons on the council. And I think one of the forum, I'll tell him, the group, the crowd, had the council, Bridge Gates, Elizabeth Knights. So out of the 6 council, we met 3 already. And so I really appreciate the fact that he's here. And the fact that we're talking about all of that. So basically, I think the main issue is, and he also mentioned about different Muslim community, and then I talk about that. I told him that we West African are Sunni, So when you see a mosque about Ahmadiyya, don't assume that, oh, this group or, that's, you gotta get. So I think we here now talk about that. I said, look, this is a complete different project, and we need a complete different support. And so I'm happy that he's here, and I think we can hear from the horse's mouth, because it's important that when these political leaders who represent a complete different demographic, their policy is as inclusive as they say it is, especially when it comes to different composition in that community. The African community have not had religious institutions like a mosque, for example. And I think it is not only good for us, it's good for the community, it's also good for the city. It tells a different story that the city is not only leaning towards a particular religion or faith, but everybody. So I think the story can only be completed. We're not doing it alone, he's with us. And I want you, I'm not going to say what he's going to say, but I think that from our conversation, and for Hassan, I know Hassan is a terrible negotiator, so I know you people bad. Hassan is a tough negotiator, because after I had a meeting with him, and Hassan and I conferred, he said, okay, I'll deal with it, so I knew that. So I'm not going to talk much, but I think these are some of the best leaders, like the Madigo community, for example, they do wonderful things in our community. They do a lot of help with folks in emergency, something that the city will be handling, people deaf. So that is one of the most profound community, and the Guinea community as well, the Sierra community. And so I think it's also building relationship with all these communities in ways that the center will do. So it is a win-win. So we hope this year we are determined, inshallah, we know what that means, to make sure it works. So Hassan will do a more detailed update, but I just wanted to say that.
Okay. So, first I want to thank all of you for showing up in our meeting we had on Friday. We had a meeting at the Zenwood where we all updated different groups, different individuals who are interested to know what we're doing. There's a little core group of us who are working right now, and the reason we said before is because we can reach a consensus if we're a smaller group than if we're a bigger group. Because to reach a consensus with a bigger group, we have to do a lot of negotiation, and we don't have time for that. We have to make a decision in a small group and involve leaders from all communities to come in. So prior to that, on that Wednesday, we heard about the two sites that you mentioned, the church, which is on Zexes and Brookville Drive, and did you mean the Fortress Church on 85th or the barn behind it?
The Fortress.
The Fortress?
The Fortress.
Okay, so
It's just $9-10 million.
yeah, so the Fortress was out of the question. We already looked at that. Because I looked at how much money I had, and I had only $4 million. I couldn't pay for that. So we already had a discussion at the beginning for the Fortress. The second site, the one in Brookville and Zexes, has a for sale sign on the side. Found out that the for sale is actually for the whole mall area. Does not involve the church. The church is not on sale. It's a functioning church. The address listed for the church, the congregation, they have an office in Bloomington. So those areas are out. So back to our area of focus, which was that building which is on near Bass Lake and Brooklyn Boulevard.
You did a group up there after this speech. I think we'll do the group, then I think just go.
You want us to? Okay, so I'm going to turn around to Mayor Levy to give us an update. One of the things I want to mention that might even fall into the conversation is this. Part of the location we found is there's a piece of land which is 1.6 acres that is down on Brooklyn Boulevard in 80th. It was zoned for a chiropractor doctor who said, you know what, I want to change this from residential. There used to be an old home that was cleared away. And he said, hey, I want to change this so I can build my office over here. So the city zoned it and put it under B2, which is like a business commercial area over there. So now he changed his mind and he put the land on sale. Now here's the thing, we looked at the land of equivalent value, 1.06 acres. There is a land which is down on 69, about 1.60, that is going for $250,000. while this one is 1.06 is going for about $99,000. So you can see value over the same street between, couple of blocks down, how it makes a difference. So financially speaking, this site makes more sense than going down and paying more where there's a creek next to you. You don't know if it's going to sip in water into the building you want to build, So looking at that, I had to call the city and find out, hey, it's Zone B2. We want to change it to a religious place before we go ahead and purchase it. Part of the purchase agreement is you want to make sure whatever you're going to buy, you will be able to use it for it. Otherwise, you're just going to sit on the land and you'll look at it because you can't do nothing on it. Talking to the city, we found out that there is a moratorium for building religious buildings or rezoning some areas for religion purposes. They extended that. I think it's going on until fall of this year. The feedback I got is if you have intention of buying the property, go ahead and do so. But you cannot do anything until the moratorium goes away. So it gives us, as a buyer, it gives us some speculation where you say, should I buy this and take a risk and wait? Because we already know it was zoned residential before and turned to B2, and now we're asking it to go back to residential so we can build, a religious building, which is allowable use in a residential place, So if you look at it, the mechanism of the city council, the mayor, the planning commission, who they have a meeting tonight over there, they're the ones who make these decisions, The 7 people who said, even though he's the mayor, he doesn't make decision for the whole group. We just earn, if tonight he says he supports us, we just earn 1 vote out of 7. So we want to make sure that the city knows what our intention is, and we want to show the city that we're serious about this. Because I'm sure no other organization has reached as far as calling the mayor in and sitting down with him over this kind of a project of changing the zoning for an area, So I want to give this opportunity for Mayor Lundy to talk to us and give us more detail about what you think about our ideas and where we're formulating our partnership with all the different organizations you've seen it from.
And I'm going to remain sitting. I think I'm a person who believes that you see eye to eye, it's equals. And so I like to stand, and I'm not that kind of person. So I want to thank you for the invitation and the opportunity to be here, and I'll try to be as brief as I can. I know many of you before, through many different things, and I think that your place in our community is very helpful. I never thought as mayor that I would meet as many churches, mosques, how much work the faith community does in our city. It's irreplaceable because we simply cannot do it all, and so our partners like yourselves. I'm glad we're meeting in the Kakata room because this room is, there's some pictures of it. You can see me in librarian garb if you really want to. It was 99 degrees that day, and the Norwegian in me was on full display. Did they give you the librarian name? I don't know, but it was probably to do with something, lots of sweat. So it was good for me, and I'm glad we're here because that was the first trip we as a city had taken, and it has been a good catalyst because it's a symbol, I believe, of our commitment. I paid my way there. I did not ask the taxpayers to pay. I did it for one reason only, is I wanted to make the trip about what we were doing, not about people saying, why are you spending my money to go to another country? So I did that on purpose because I wanted people to look at the trip. And so it has been important for us. Hopefully it means something to actually go the mile. So, and there's plans. Depending on elections, I've got enough tire miles to go back. So I think at some point we're going to look at that. But so a few things. Hassan talked a lot about the city. So we have, as Robin Martinson would say, we are a free country with lots and lots of rules. And so one of them is where can churches go? And churches, I'll just say religious institution. I would say churches, but it's any Lutheran, Catholic, Muslim, Buddhist, Jewish. It doesn't matter what. We have certain spots that we allow people, and we let people change things like residential and things like that. And so I've asked Cindy Sherman, because we have like 4 or 5 groups who are who are looking to be in contact, her point of contact, so I would only ask that you, Huston knows her, to be as well, because she can help at least tell you this is not allowed, or at least advise you, like, this is not a big deal to change this, or this is a very big deal. And so people who may not like Muslim faith will find any reason but the fact of their hatred to object. So if the objection can be on parking, or there'll be too much traffic, then that gives them a way to say, I don't like it because of the parking, when the real reason is they don't want a mosque to go in. So just to be blunt, so what I always find is if you can narrow down the objections and make it so that the person has to stand up and be courageous and actually say why they don't want a mosque next, nearby, most people won't take that step. They won't. And that's just fine with me. So, as I would tell anybody, I'll be as supportive as I can and make sure and advise you guys. Before, I used to do international sales for about 15 years. All around the world, I used to do a lot of business in Jordan. I never actually traveled, but I did a lot of business. And so for me, the world is a small place, and everybody has different cultures, different faiths, but we all believe in trying to treat people well, and so that's all I care about. So what I can do, and the best thing I can do is keep Cindy Sherman, our planning director, because what I do not want is you guys to invest your money into a piece of land that the hill to get approval is a cliff. What I want to make it is hopefully a downward. The moratorium, if it makes you feel better, the moratorium had to do with a evangelical church that wanted to put down a monstrosity, a huge church with 800 parking stalls. They didn't care about city. The first note I got from them was a note from their lawyer threatening us to sue if we did not allow them to do it, which I thought was kind of interesting. My first, it wasn't in a room where we were talking, it was a lawyer, to which we thought, wait a minute, so we have some tools of our own, and we put a moratorium on any religious institution so that we could rewrite our code, and we're allowed to do that. They made a mistake. They should have submitted their application first, then threatened us. Because they submitted the lawyer first, they were able to say, okay, time out. Nothing's happening for a year. So, and that's part of the parameters. But I know that Cindy, I really asked her, because where we can help churches get into the right spot, sometimes it's just leasing, and then it's buying. Mighty Fortress were good people, and they raised a lot of money. The problem is you buy a horse, you have to feed it, and they couldn't feed it. And so, and trust me, I've got a brother-in-law who's done that lesson. So, so that's where we want to make sure we work with everybody. And there's nothing more I would love to do is be there when you guys open your mosque and stand up and say, I support So I said I try to keep things brief, but I know that as long as you are working with Cindy, I know from the rules that we can make that person have this many objections, and they will have to stand up and make the big objection, which is they just don't like you.
Yeah. So
most people are not that courageous.
Yeah. So we as a group have been engaging Cindy and Todd as well. So they know about our intention through email, phone calls. We have talked to both of them at different times. With that, I'll pass it over to Imam Dukoli.
Well, on behalf of our community, once again, we'd like to thank you for the support that you have expressed for this group. And also, just one correction, the support from the mayor is just more than a vote. He is the mayor of the city, and they know how to play their games, to spread their tentacles, and so on and so forth. So a support from him is just more than a vote. His vote is bigger than any one council member, and he has also friends. Because in order for him to be able to sell his policies out there, he got to get friends on the board, on the council that will vote for it. So he can also use his influence in this case to help us achieve that goal. And so, without much ado, we want to say thank you to you for even allowing us to come here to listen to us and for all the kind words that you have expressed. we cannot thank you enough. And you might see a few of us here today, they will just choose the leadership to come here. The next meeting, we will have to call you, we have to plan it, and then you'll see hundreds of people. Perhaps we have to use the community centers, yes, to inform people, and hundreds of them will show up, and so that you can see. And then also, you can count on us too. Yes, as long as you are doing exactly what you have said, you don't care about a specific group, you have to serve everybody. If that is the case, you can also count on our community for the support that you need.
Yep, sure.
And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Does the city have lots for sale?
And as a city, we tend to hold on to things because often we sell and then later we're like,
Chicken back.
yes. So sometimes we do have lots for sale. And Cindy would be, Cindy is kind of in the midst of everything that happens in our city with land. Because there's what can be on it and what it can be used for, two separate things. So you could have a building on it, but it can't be used for, or it can't. So it's complicated, and we have experts, and I depend on her. She's very good. So I wanted to quick mention now, we have been working on a teen homeless shelter, and I wanted to share with you in here, closed doors, what the history. The hospital knows the homeless shelter started actually 3 years ago with people who were exploiting immigrant daughters of Africa who were coming here for safety, and they were being put to use as sex trafficking. And so we as a city for the last few years have been working on this, and now you start to see this thing about a homeless shelter, and I wanted you to know that the roots, the beginnings, was because of what they were doing to a group of girls who deserve better, and we have been working on that. So eventually we will have a place for girls who are trying to find safety, and boys to find a safe place to stay when they don't have one. And I think I don't share the roots of what that was because some people like to draw stereotypes, but I feel you guys should know that this is what it's all about. And those kind of things are things I think our city are doing more and more. And your support, the churches support, all churches, religious institutions have been, to show up in chambers and you talk about support, and have 100 people just say that we support something is very impactful for the council. And it helps people realize there's lots of support. It gives courage to councilors who may worry.
So I just like to add actually, one of the things we discussed was that the homeless shelter, there's a church, with Salvation Moray, and we had a forum where the mayor and I spoke, but I think if we had an organized Islamic community, it would have been powerful, because the shelter is being built and it had a lot of story in the media in different community, and I think that was an important aspect where only the church, the faith-based, and I think it would have looked really, really good, our presence and our support, and helping a lot of folks that are Muslims. There's one homeless kid that I know is a Muslim that has gone through, so there's a lot of stuff that I think is so I think we should thank the mayor for that, one of the best projects, especially for Africans, Sierra Leone, Liberians, that a lot of the kids don't have nowhere to live. And if you saw the presentation here, trust me, you will cry. I mean, you really cry. So let's give the mayor a big one.
We're not done, we fight the next battle, but we're getting closer. So,
One thing I have to mention is last time when the mayor, when this was coming to the council, the EDA for approval, there were like hundreds of people sitting there, and they were being mentioned by the congregation they came from, like church from somewhere, church from somewhere.
Yes.
We're expecting in this coming future that our community will come up too and be mentioned that they're contributing over here. So this is our beginning of building that capacity so that we'll be able to serve people, later on.
Most definitely, we will. So as long as we have the information, we'll get our people together to be represented. Yeah, absolutely, definitely. Yes, we have other leaders. Just before you, maybe you might, do you have a few more minutes?
yeah, I do. I have a few more. And
Okay, we have leaders, maybe they would like to say something.
Well, it was so far with everything that we have expressed here, and
It looks like you do a very good job in not only in our community but in Brooklyn Park as a whole. Being a leader is not just for one group, it's for all the groups. And what I'm hearing and all your trouble that you made after the failure out of your own pocket means a lot. It's not only, I'm not a Liberian, but Liberia, Guinea, and all sorts of different countries that are all different in a way that we're all the same people. You can't meet me out there and say, oh, you're Liberian or Israeli. I will tell you I'm African. That's my African brother.
Yep.
That's what I tell you. So with all this, to me, I'm very impressed. Coming from the Israeli background and the Israeli community, we are very impressed with the things that you're doing. But all we asking you is to give us the support that we're here for. And believe me, we will let you down. We'll always be there for you. That's all I can say.
Anyone else would like to say?
Mayor, I want to thank you on behalf of our community. Like the Imam rightly said, we have been thinking about this for the past 10 years. Unfortunately, we never had an opportunity to sit with you like this to discuss this issue. Now, our community is very in need for a place to worship. And you can count on us, like the brother rightly said, and we are hopeful that you will help us to find out way. We are present here today and proving to us that you are here for us and want to give you our full support. Thank you so much, and we look forward to working with you in the future. But please help us. Thank you.
I did want to mention that one of the things that has driven me is what happened in Blaine and St. Anthony with the objections, and so I knew that when we had the opportunity that it was important that you do the extra step and help make the process smoother. Yes. So
We don't want to send our lawyers.
But because we are also aware of those things, what happened if they have meetings with the rightful people who can give them direction, I don't think that would have happened. So we're not coming here to fight, we are coming here to negotiate, to find a way to achieve our goal. Okay, we're not here to fight.
what's his name? You sure?
Yeah, okay. You want to say?
Well, once the president has finished. Oh, go ahead. Do I have your permission? Thank you, Mr. President. I need to understand the number. I'm honored. I'm really honored to be part of this history making. And like previous speakers said, or all of the previous speakers said, it is amazing, to see how people are attracted to the cities of Brooklyn Park and Brooklyn Center. There's no doubt that you are doing something right. I live in Minneapolis. I've never spent a night in Brooklyn Park, and yet there hasn't been a day when my wife has not asked me for us to move to Brooklyn Park. So I don't know. So clearly there's got to be something good going on here. But I want to take this time to thank all of our religious leaders, Imam Dukle right there, the Brother Katamba, those who have stood in the forefront of this issue. But this is indeed a burning issue. It's one that we've been thinking about for years, like the President said. We need a leadership, we need a people who will step out with the requisite knowledge, to come forward so that we can lie behind them to push forward. And like the Imam rightly stated earlier too, this is just a tiny fraction of the Muslim community in these two cities. So when the time comes, you're going to see us who will come in mass, in large number. We can assure you that. And lastly, this is my second day in a row when I've heard of homeless issue. Just last night, on my way from work, I heard that Canada just did major research on homeless situation, the first of its kind. They had trouble as to how homeless people were being treated as a nation, not just a city.
Yeah.
And so they resulted into doing some things differently so as to serve the homeless community better. So I'm very delighted to know that your city has started that 3 years before their final decision. So we are happy to be here and look forward to meeting you going forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye. You want to do the camera?
No, it's okay. I just want to take this time to thank you, Mr. Mayor, for all respect of working back in Mr. Jabri. But I want to take this opportunity as well to give my wife, the first lady of the Guinea community,
Before I speak culturally, I will have Nancy Lai. She's our sitting president of the African Muslim Women Association of Minnesota to say what she has to say before I go ahead. Yeah.
You'll be the secretary.
So then I've got to go ahead from him. On behalf of AMWA and the Guinea community of Minnesota, I'd like to say thanks a lot for, listening out, giving us your ears and time. We will be very grateful if you partner with us and support us in any way possible. For me, my perception is it might be a little easier for our project if we can kind of corner you and convince you to sell us the land. So from the city, I think will be way cheaper and it will enable us to, save some money that we can actually invest in the structure. So that is my personal view, and Hassan will take that and push it a little bit. However, you can help us sell us a piece of land that is in zoning, meet zoning regulation to enable us go on with this project. I think would help us a lot. Thanks a lot.
The Max is from Kakata.
Thanks a lot.
But we are not leaving any options. All the options should come on the table. Maybe buy it, a piece of land, all the options. Yeah.
The communication good.
Well, I'm very impressed. Way back, 2 years back, we always thought that it was a difficult thing to come to the city mayor or maybe head of government institutions to put our plight forward. But I mean, you being down to earth like this has impressed me a lot. And I think, like everybody said here, I mean, you're going to get a very big support from our community as long as the community is happy with what they want to do. And then, interestingly, he just talked about the homeless shelter.
Yep.
I'm going to school, and then my assignment right now, we are talking about shelter. All right? But if I had known that Broken Park was doing something like that, we would have used our school project to work with the city of Broken Park. But now we are working with the homeless shelter in St. Louis County. That's the one we are dealing with right now. And it impressed me a lot to hear that you are undertaking something like that, because sometimes we think it's all good, but it's not the case unless we walk out there to see what's going on in other homes. So I want to tell you, thank you so much.
Well, I mean, I had a presentation a couple of weeks ago. And I know one of the broader issues were to be very supportive. And I just believe that there's no doubt that on this project what is necessary for us. And to also say that when we ask you to help us, I think we are also doing everything in our own community to help ourselves. In the last meeting we had, we were able to raise $4,300 that night from community members in the community. So while we ask you, I just want you to know that, the burden is not going to be yours alone. We're going to take our own, going to play our own part, going to take our own responsibility to make sure that we support the project as it also help us. As you can see, there are huge number of talented people in here, but we just need that help. We just need that little push for us to be able to get what we're going to be able to get. So, thank you for accepting to help us, and I hope we're going to be able to do it.
Thank you so much. Would like to say something? Okay, Executive, so Mandela, I'd like to say
No, you guys are good.
Okay, so I don't want to hold the meeting too long. We really have the person to come to this meeting because he has so many things on his agenda, but he's been so kind to our community, so he decided to cancel some of his activities to come to us. I think that's really worth some commendation. So we would like to thank you again on behalf of our people in these cities. We're very grateful and we'll convey the message to them. And we can further assure you that the expressions that we heard from these leaders in terms of giving support, as long as, like I must say, our people are happy in the city, you can count on us. It is only through the leadership, that's why we have stability and peace in this community. You know, one of the things I always say, it's about police, the police, you know. Some people say police can be hunting people down and this, that, they go sit in the corners and they give tickets and this, that. But I just one aspect, I'm just giving a simple analysis on something that I believe strongly. But that's the negative thing that we see. But what about the positive side? They go all out in the street in order for you at night to go to bed, to go to sleep. So we don't praise them for this, you know. And so what am I saying this? Because in some instances, maybe there might be somebody in our group that will condemn you. But there are a lot of people who also appreciate the positive things that they are doing. So we want to thank you for all of those, and we understand. We understand the limitations and so on and so forth. So we're not going to be asking for high demands, you know, but the things that we know that is within the confines of the mayor's office, we're going to be asking for those. So thank you so much for coming, and our prayers with you. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, anyway, we are not closing now, but we're closing, you make the door for us, we're closing, inshallah. It would be nice if the mayor stood by us and we take a public this way. This is our camera, guys. We can push it. There's not just one country, a lot of countries that take it out. We can focus on that. You got to take us over there. You can sit right there, that's fine. Absolutely. Yeah. Let me help us with dollar. Let me right here. Let's put the seats here. I don't want to see you down. The women. Push us in there. Good job. Good job.
Yeah.
I'm going to put all your number inside.
What show is like last time? No, don't cut our head off. Last time
Mama, go to Alpha Play.
yeah.
When I put it there, you will rest.
And make sure capture the mayor.
Meeting.
Imam just went for his house. Let's move the Please moderate your disposition.